Hi, and welcome to yet another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris, and joining me today is Sue Kay. Sue is the director of the University of New South Wales AI Institute, and we're going to be talking about what lessons Australia can learn from Taiwan's approach to AI. Hi, Sue. Welcome to AI in 5.
Hi, Simon.
Look, thanks for joining us. We're going to jump right in, and I know that sovereign AI is high on your agenda. You were recently in Taiwan and saw something really interesting.
Yes, it was very inspirational to go to Taiwan, where they are making AI the second pillar of their economy, and they are all in. So Taiwan produces 90% of the world's, AI hardware, and they've recognized that there is a gap that they need to fill in the software space. And they have got a long-term strategy. They're investing billions of dollars towards this. They've developed their own sovereign large language model. And I guess what struck me about this is that Taiwan has the same size population as Australia, is not as wealthy as Australia. And yet, as a nation, Australia seems to be holding itself back from taking similar action. So a lot of the reasons you hear in Australia for why we're not investing in AI are things like we're too small, we're too late to the party, what can we do anyway? And I think Taiwan, even their strategy is called something like AI for a small nation. It was really inspirational, and I hope that we can take some lessons from what Taiwan is doing. Because they've looked at everything from how they construct their government tech stack, how they approve data centers being built, and just making sure that they're investing in all of their computing infrastructure to make sure that it's fit for purpose for developing AI models, but importantly, also investing in the talent, which unfortunately we are going to lose if we don't invest.
Yeah, well, we know that the guy that built the DeepSeek model in China did his degrees here in Australia, so he kind of learnt everything here and then went offshore. For the Australia scene, do you think the holdback is the classic old Australian "she'll be right, mate, it'll happen in its own time," or do you think it's kind of marketing hype from the international hyperscalers that actually have a vested interest in us not developing sovereign capability?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. And I think the other thing that is a real factor is that, there was a recent Trust in AI report that was released that shows that once again, Australia leads the world in fear of AI.
Yeah.
And in the lead up to our election, you didn't hear any political party talking about AI, robots, or even digital. It's like they're dirty words. I guess, fortunately, post-election, we are hearing more discussion, but we need to be having a serious conversation with the Australian public about what the future is going to look like, and I guess how we can tailor it so that it fulfills everybody's needs, so that people have the type of jobs that they want to work in, that we're looking after everyone's healthcare and social benefits, while still being able to be, a fortunately quite wealthy country.
And the media have a part to play in this too, right? Because, bad news sells. And so there's, 100 stories about we're all going to be out of work for every one story about something good. How do we start to turn that tide?
Oh, well, the report suggests that AI literacy is one of the real barriers to having these conversations. But I think also, while I think Australia has done a great job in looking at regulations, and I think our ban for social media for young people, is really an exemplar for the rest of the world. If you focus too much attention on how you can restrict and regulate stuff, I think it immediately puts questions in people's minds about how safe that stuff is. And so I think Australia, by immediately leaping into how you can restrict the use of it and how you can regulate it, probably has made people feel inherently that it's unsafe, and there's been more of a focus on that rather than what the opportunities are. And if we fear it so much that we can't even talk about it, then we're never going to get anywhere, because we just can't have any sensible conversations.
Yeah, it's odd for a nation that, besides the Hills Hoist, invented the pacemaker and Google Maps and these other brilliant inventions, and yet we seem to be really holding back in AI.
Except possibly in our, individual lives, right? So probably a lot of people are using generative AI tools on their phones all the time, but as a nation and in industry, it seems to be a much harder to see that uptake.
Yeah, wow. Well, look, we're right at time, and this could be a 4-hour episode of AI in five. But I love to ask everybody the same question, and that is, for an organization just starting its AI journey, what should they be thinking about focusing on?
Well, they say that the hardest step in a marathon is the first step out the door. So just getting started is the most important thing because you can't build your AI muscle unless you're out exercising. So that would be my advice.
I love that phrasing, AI muscle. No, that's awesome. Sue, thanks for being a part of AI in five.
Thanks, Simon.